Hey there, friends. Coming back at you with another episode of the Pre-Ride Show presented by FSA. Very special edition here. We've got a Pro Tour rider with us, Matteo Jorgenson. He is literally fresh off the plane last night from racing at the Giro. Matteo, thank you for sitting down with us, man. How are you feeling?
I'm a bit tired, bit out of it, but no, I'm good.
I can imagine a 3-week Grand Tour and everything that goes into that. Let's start there. What was that experience like for you? That was your first Grand Tour, right?
Yeah, my first Grand Tour. It was difficult. It was more difficult than I expected a little bit. I went into it not on super good form and a little bit tired already from a big spring. So yeah, it was difficult. It was definitely the biggest challenge I've had yet.
Any lessons that you learned in that tour that you didn't think you'd learn? Probably some stuff you knew would happen, but maybe some stuff were like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was pretty impressive how consistently good the GC guys are. And in like every day in the mountains, they were doing, consistent performances and not having real bad days. And for me, that was impressive to see firsthand. And it made me realize that I've got a ways to work.
Yeah. What's it like inside the team bus that we get these elaborate team buses, and us folks watching it on TV, we get little snippets of it, but is it I guess depending on the day, but is it a lot of fun? Is it just straight on business once we're inside there, like a locker room might be?
Yeah, no, it's a bit like a locker room. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's just guys changing. It's pretty chaotic, to be honest. There's way too many people in a small bus at one time because you have soigneurs in there putting lotion on people's legs, cream. You have people, talking with the doctor, trying to fix saddle sores or road rash, and then you have every rider has to change, so every rider has their backpack, all their stuff, and yeah, it's pretty chaotic. And then you have the director doing kind of a meeting and while this is going on and telling us tactics for the race, and yeah, there's just a lot going on, and it's not very peaceful in there until you get out of the bus and you go to the start line. And sometimes then you're sitting on the start line and it's the most,
you're a little more protected
and part of the race.
Right. What was your first welcome to the World Tour moment? Like, was it an interaction with another pro? Was it being elbowed into the gutter? Like, what made you really feel like, man, I'm now at the highest levels of the sport?
Yeah, I think it was last year just racing, like I think it was San Remo, and I kind of had no expectations for the race, and it was my first year pro, and I just fought the whole day. We had no leader for the race, so we were kind of all just on our own and all trying to do the best we could on our team because we had no favorite for the race, and so I ended up making it pretty far, and I was in the front group going over the Poggio, and yeah, I had this moment on the descent where I was like, oh, this is pretty real. We're going, full gas, and all these guys have a chance to win a monument, and you realize kind of the stress of all the guys, and yeah, you realize just how fluid it is on TV. Sometimes it looks planned, or it looks like the guy who won. It was simple and it was always going to happen that way, but you realize in the race that anything could have happened.
That race in particular for me is always just so fascinating and thrilling to watch, those last two climbs and then that descent down into the finish.
Super cool course. That's why it's been such a classic and one of the oldest races.
Yeah. Well, this year in the Giro we had spent a little time on the gravel.
Yeah,
there.
That's true. That was one of my highlights of the race, to be honest. That was one of the days where I actually felt good, and I could help out our leader that day, and it was cool to have gravel in the race. I think it added something special.
What was your background before World Tour? Do we have any mountain bike? Do we have any other gravel experience, like specific gravel racing experience?
Not gravel racing experience. No, none of that. No, when I was a junior, I was racing cyclocross and mountain bike. Until probably 15, I was doing all three: road, cyclocross, and mountain bike. And and then I started to focus on the road just because it felt like there weren't as many avenues to make it as a professional in cyclocross and mountain bike.
Okay. Yeah. And now the team tells you right before the Giro that as soon as the Giro done, you're coming to Kansas to race Unbound.
Yeah.
Was that weighing a little heavy on you? We're way too focused on the Giro. We can't really think too far ahead.
No, I tried not to think about it too much. There wasn't much to think about. I had to do a little bit of planning with Canyon because they were asking me questions about the bike and the setup. And so, on like one of the rest days, I had a call with them. And so that day I kind of realized, I'm actually doing this, and kind of hit. But then you're back into the race and you don't think about it at all. It's like every morning you wake up and it's the same thing. You have another stage, and there's not a lot of time to think about it.
Does that get a little repetitive? Is it almost like a where am I today sort of approach when you wake up and it's day 18 of 21 in a world tour?
Yeah, I mean, the fatigue is the mental fatigue is pretty underestimated. At least for me, it was underestimated just how much is going on every day. And you wake up some days and you have no idea where in Italy you are, or where, you know, you're in the north, and you look at a map and you're like, how did I get here? And
Right.
yeah, I mean, you're just kind of like, you don't have to do much as a rider other than race and change, because everything's kind of done for you and it's made really easy. So it's kind of all a blur. You're not like very connected the whole time. You're just focused each day on the exact stage. And other than that, everything else is you're just trying to relax and get to the next one.
Now, when we apply that here to Unbound, have you gotten a lot of recon from other friends or any of the folks at Canyon on what the race is and any particular strategy that you've set out?
The strategy, no. I mean, I talk to everyone I can, and I try to get as many tips as I can, because I have no idea really what I'm doing, and especially with like the bike setup and the equipment I need to bring in the race, I have to pay attention, because yeah, you're out there in the middle of nowhere and it's 200 miles, so you have to be pretty prepared, is what I'm realizing now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bring quite a few things and be ready for a lot of scenarios.
That's really all you can do out here in an event like this, and no doubt that world tour experience will help you. So.
Hopefully.
And I think it speaks to the level of the event that we're now attracting world tour pros, and whether they're retired or still active out there in the circuit. And
definitely, it's growing a lot. I mean, I had guys in the Giro, you know, because there was an article and they said I was doing it, and some guys in the race on other teams saw I was doing it, and they were asking me about it and saying they thought it was cool and they love to do it. And yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely growing as a sport.
Yeah. Others, you mentioned that you're going to be here in the States for a while. Any other races on your plan in between now and then?
Yeah, I've been talking just now about Belgian Walferrad. Maybe that's on my plan, but no, I'm doing Pro Nationals in a few weeks. I think it's June 17th or something. So yeah, not too far away. And so yeah, I'll have some time at home in Boise and then come back out to the East Coast for that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
man, we can't wait to see you out there. We know you're going to give it hell, and it's really we're grateful that you took a few minutes to sit down with us.
Of course, thank you guys.
Right on. Matteo Jorgenson sitting down with us here at the Pre-Ride Show presented by FSA. Appreciate you tuning in. Make sure to subscribe on the YouTube channel and click the little bell so you get notifications of all the new episodes that drop. Thanks for looking in at us.